Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the International Women's Day panel discussion organized by Youth Impact Parliament. I am Jones Amegashie-Viglo, your speaker and host. We would like to start this program officially by a short word of prayer. Let us pray. Almighty God, we humbly beseech Thee to look with favor upon this Youth Impact Parliament. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in Thy sight. Give divine guidance to our host, our guest panelists, and other panelists, that they may come and speak with insight and understanding and speak on our team. Bless the efforts of those who make this vision a living reality, inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, mostly ladies, since today is an International Women's Day, I would like to use the feminine pronoun most. So ladies and then gents, I want to welcome you to our first ever panel discussion program organized by Youth Impact Parliament. It is very important for us to note that without women, let me just start the discussion ahead. Without women, this world will be boring. So congrats to them. It is up to them during the discussion to prove to us if what I said is true. So for the records, we have as our panelists, my co-host just joined, he's the majority leader, the Honorable Amanor David Narh, and we also have another second co-host who is also the minority leader, Honorable Kofi Ahianu Erasmus. So they will be my co-host anytime I fall out of line or when I'm questioning the panelists in order to enhance the discussion. They have the right to unmute themselves and contribute or ask the questions. Proceeding, our guest panelists for today, we have Ms. Nancy Agyapong, Director of NA Prestige Agency and founder of Nancy Agyapong Foundation. Miss, welcome to our program. Our second guest panelist is Christabel Narh Tsotsoo Larmie, former Speaker of University of Ghana, Accra City Campus Student Parliament House. Welcome. Our third guest panelist is Ms. Ekua Manan Asase, Speaker of Takoradi Technical University General Assembly, SRC General Assembly. Welcome if you're online. Our fourth guest panelist is Priscilla Afriyie Addai. She's the Speaker of the University of Health and Allied Sciences, SRC Parliament. She will join us very soon. We also have our fifth guest panelist, Ms. Vera Fafa Agbenya, former president of Ho Technical University, SRC, and founder of Vim Ladies Ghana. Welcome if you're online. Our other guest panelist is Ms. Dinaya Balo. She's the founder of Sisterhood Organization and also the First Lady, former First Lady. They call their president First Lady. Welcome if you're online. Then we also have Christabel Women Commissioner of Ho Technical University, SRC. If you're online, welcome. Then we also have Ms. Ornice Adams, the National Service Personnel Association, Ho Municipal, Ho West Women Commissioner. If you're online, welcome.
NASPA, we are here. NASPA, we are here.
The other things that we have.
My brother, be very careful.
Yes. Yes, we also have Peggyita Abena Dogbefu, who is also part of the panelists. We We also have Derika D. Dogbe, another panelist. We have Isabella Anthony, another panelist. We have Asase Vanessa Peace, another panelist. We have Bridget Chris Mensah, another panelist. We also have Chigbe Elades. It's time for us to listen to our feminine gender. So when it is time for question and answers, you can appraise your gender. But for now, the day is for the feminine gender. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to proceed to, let me say, our preamble for today's program. I'll just proceed to read that. And then from there, we'll have opening statement from one of the panelists. First, she would have to introduce herself with all the positions she has held or is still holding. And from there, she'll proceed to give us her opening statement on our theme and hashtag. Our theme for today's program is Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow, which is actually the international theme for the celebration of the International Women's Day. And the hashtag is Break the Bias 2022. So I'll proceed with the welcome statement. Happy International Women's Day to you all. Every year, this day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Every year, this day is being celebrated always on the 8th of March across the world. It is a day everyone shows appreciation, love, and respect towards women. A woman is said to be a beautiful creation of God. This is a fact that all great personalities are born. It is a fact that all great personalities are born from a woman's womb and have taken their initial teachings from a woman. That is why people give due respect to women in their lives. A day when women are recognized and celebrated for playing various roles in the different spheres of life. Women have a robust spirit that makes them excel in their fields. They continue to massively impact our lives, lives of their family members, friends, and society, and of course, nation and internationally. Women across the nation come together, crossing all boundaries from various culture and ethnic groups to remember their struggle for peace, justice, equality, and development. The world is moving towards a gender equality. It is moving towards a balance between men and women. A change is required and it is very essential. Therefore, Youth Impact Parliament have taken it upon itself to organize this program shortly. As most of you know, the idea came just this morning and we tried to mobilize all of you. And we thank God that we have been able to do that just within hours. We have been able to mobilize this program so as to listen from some important women within our society who are actually young. Today, they might not be at the top, but we know tomorrow they'll reach there. So we want to identify them today, highlight them, and give them the opportunity to tell us their story and speak on the theme, and possibly any follow-up question that will come. We'll ask them, and then they will clarify. Today is for them. This program is a panel discussion, so it is very, very interactive. Me being the host and my co-host will help this session to be very interactive. They are all very vibrant, and then they are also watching. So, the theme for today's program, the hashtag is break the bias. I have questions on, so we'll be asking all of you what exactly your gender is trying to communicate by breaking or break the bias. I'm very, very curious. So our guest panelists, prepare yourself. So happy Mother's Day to you all. It is not the official Mother's Day, but it is still a disguised Mother's Day. You alone are celebrating too. But Father's Day there is only one. No problem. We have questions and we'll ask. So happy Mother's Day to you all. Happy International Women's Day to you all. We stay Aiko to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to proceed to listen to our first panelist, our first guest panelist. She is in the person of Miss Nancy Agyapong. She is the director of NA Prestige Agency and the founder of Nancy Agyapong Foundation. Today, she will tell us about herself, who she is, and from there, she will proceed to give us her opening statement on the theme, which is gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow, and tell us all we need to know. Then from there, my co-host and I will proceed to have an interactive session with her. Then from there, we'll proceed to Ms. Vera Fafa Agbenya. So thank you very much, Ms. Nancy Agyapong. The floor is yours. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction and for the opportunity. Hello, good evening to everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay, well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Okay, so this is to describe myself. I'm a humble daughter of a very powerful king, the ruler of all kings and the master of all dominions. And by his potential in me, he has made me over 3 organizations. First, I am the founder of Nancy Agyapong Foundation. It's an organization, a non-profit organization that is into making life better for young people. And we do that through education, counseling, and donations, which is philanthropy work. So every year we visit some organizations, needy organizations, for example, orphanages, and then we have interaction with their children there, and then we make donations to them. We do every year. But there are other times that we visit schools and other organizations to speak to young people about how they can live better quality of lives. We counsel them on how they can, improve on their lives and become better versions of themselves and be who God has created them to be. My other organization or company is NA Prestige Agency, and this one is a talent development center. So what we do there is to help young people harness their talents and potentials that is within them. We know that Ghana, there are so many young people in Ghana, and we are gifted. We are very talented, but we are not able to make good use of it. We don't know. Most people do not know what talents they have, and so we help these people to know what talents they have through counseling. And then we also help them after they've known to develop it or harness it and use it wisely to better their lives and the lives of the people around them. And then the third organization or the third company, that one is a startup, is a new startup. I'm also the director of Nancy Chemist. So Nancy Chemist, that is where I am right now as I speak to you. It's a new startup, so it's something that is serving my community. We don't really have a hospital in my community, so I set this up so that we can serve the people and they don't have to go to the next town or even cross the road, since I realized that most of the children were knocked down by vehicles and other motor vehicles. So this is kind of, helping them, saving their lives, and also healing them one way or the other. And these things that I've shared with you are something that I am passionate about. I consider it as my purpose, my core purpose on earth, and that is what I am doing now. So that's just about Nancy and what I do. I am also a youth mentor. I like to speak to young people, encourage them. If people are going through one challenge or the other, and I happen to know about it, or they happen to inform me about it, I either counsel them, encourage them, and then if there is any way that I can help them, I do help them. I am also a spiritual life coach. I mean, we all know what life coaches are, but I do it in a spiritual way. That is, I help people connect with their soul and their spirit so that they can have a fulfilling life. So that's basically who I am and what I do. Now, on the International Women's Day, happy International Women's Day to all the women here. And this mission on gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. I personally have not experienced any bias, like gender bias in my life. I have personally not experienced, but I have heard of people's stories of how they have been disadvantaged because of their gender as a woman or as a female, and how they are not given what they are due, especially in terms of wages or salaries at their workplaces. I also heard stories of how people are treated because they are women. And I do not think it is right or is the best way. So, of course, I stand against that. But I personally do not have much experience in that line of bias. So I will say something briefly about what I think or what I believe gender equality or feminism should be. I personally think that women empowerment or feminism or gender equality, as we all say, has to do with knowing who you are as a woman. I mean, if you're a woman and you know who you are, you know your beliefs, you know your worth, wherever you go, wherever you are, wherever you work, even in your home, as a family woman, wherever you find yourself in the community or the workspace, you'll be able to speak for yourself and speak for what you believe is right. I hope I am making some sense.
Yes,
Can you
indeed
hear
you
me?
are.
Right.
We can hear you.
Okay, so this is what I believe in terms of gender equality. So for us to have a sustainable tomorrow, no matter how, if you don't have a self-belief or self-confidence or self-worth, they will still trample upon you. But once you are confident in your skin, you are confident in who you are confident in your knowledge, in your skill, in your wisdom, in your talent, your skill, I mean, whatever it is that you believe you have, and you believe you can make an impact with what you have or who you are. And I believe that is where feminism, women empowerment, gender equality, and all that has to begin from. Once you know that, or once you do that, nobody can trample upon you or take you.
Yes. Thank you very much. My first question to you, since this is a panel discussion,
Right.
women, do you think men naturally take advantage of women?
Some men, yes. Some men
Oh,
do.
okay. So, have you heard of this issue of, I think this Indomine issue of these JHS girls during the COVID-19? It appears we have heard of most of them getting pregnant. Should we say that as of then, the ladies were disadvantaged, and due to that, the masculine gender took advantage of the young ones?
Yes, please, can you move on to the next? There's a patient here that I have to attend to. Kindly move on to
Okay,
the next. I'll
so
be with you soon. I'll
thank
be
you
with
very
you.
much. Thank you very much. So we'll hear from you later. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to proceed to our second guest panelist online with us right now. She is in the person of Miss Vera Fafa Agbenya, former president of Whole Technical University SRC, and she is also the founder of Vim Ladies Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Vera Fafa Agbenya, the floor is yours. Kindly switch on your video. Tell us about yourself, the positions you have held, and then your opening statement. Thank you.
Okay. Greetings to everyone. Hope we are all doing well. And thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on this platform and as well speak on the topic about gender equality and then how it helps us sustain tomorrow. Before I continue, I would like to answer your question, Joyce, about um, I think during the pandemic, how girls were found pregnant.
Exactly.
Yes. It, according to the World Health Organization, the pandemic affected women a lotly because most of them, those who stay with abusive partners, were home, staying with their partners or who has treated them badly or who treats them badly. So, for instance, women who don't know their rights or women who don't know how to defend themselves, during the pandemic, there was a lockdown. So, everyone was home. So, there is no way you could use an excuse that I'm going to work, I'm going to the market, I'm going to do this and that and that. So, at the end of the day, whatever the abusive man wants to do or whatever advantageous man is available, he will do to you what he wants to do to you. Am I clear, please?
Yes, please, you are.
Yes, you are. Kindly proceed with your opening statement.
Okay. So I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you did. Kindly make your opening statement, and then any further question that we have, we'll ask it after your opening statement.
Okay. So talking about gender equality, generally it's just about any gender, whether female, whether male, child, a boy, a girl, transgender, any gender at all. That is what gender equality is about. It's considering easy access to resources, opportunities by any gender without any limitations. But then when you are putting them on the scale, it appears women and children have been deprived of some opportunities, or there is a gap between the opportunities men have over what women and children have. So when we are talking about gender equality, it somehow, in a way, turns out to focus on women and how they've been deprived of certain opportunities or easy access to some resources. And then we are talking about gender equality. I personally feel that it's better we take it out of the religious discussions and look at it more like a societal issue or a national issue where religion doesn't play in much, and that some people say the woman is the neck, the man is the head. Gender equality is not a competition between genders. It is just providing the platform for each and everyone to be able to access equal opportunity to take up a project. So let's say, for instance, I've been told that I can apply for a job. Kindly hold on for me.
Sure. I can see. Okay, Nancy, you are back.
I am back, so I can take the questions.
Oh, okay. I was actually asking you about the situation of the COVID-19 pandemic, of
Okay.
whom we have on record that a lot of teenage girls were impregnated.
Okay.
What is your take on that with respect to our team?
Okay, I think that happened because most people were at home, and you know, most young people, because of their backgrounds or like the family that they are from, okay, they've been told to depend on men or like males in general, whether they are boys, whether they are grown-up men. That is how they know, or that is how they've been taught or trained. So because their parents were at home, nobody was going to work, nobody was bringing money home, food home, and all that, then they were more like disadvantaged. They were vulnerable, they were hungry, and they needed to eat, and they thought that the only way they could eat, depend on men. And of course, there is no free lunch. And so as they look up for their source of, food, then the men will take advantage of them. So I think that going forward, what we should do is to train our children well to know that they have something. They don't really need to depend on men. A minute. They don't really need to depend on men. They should just believe in themselves. Go out there. There are, these times during the COVID-19, a lot of online trading, online activities came up. A lot of work moved to online. And so they could have found something to do online if they really knew or they were educated on them. So going forward, these are things we need to educate our children on, so that they don't depend on men, or they don't feel they don't be at the mercy of men, or they don't feel like they need a man to be able to survive. This is what all these teenage pregnancy and all that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, we're actually listening to Ms. Vera before she had to attend to an urgent call. So kindly proceed with your opening statement, Ms. Vera.
Okay, so I was talking about gender equality, and I think I've spoken more about that. And then the hashtag on break the bias. I think I've had a little experience, much, but then experience, and then I've seen a couple of ladies who go through that, or I think so. I've equally been through that. I applied for a job, for instance, I applied for a job, and then it's more like a supervision job or a managerial role, and then you are asked, when do you plan on getting married, or do you plan on getting married soon? Are you planning on
Indeed.
having kids soon? Yes. Are you planning on having kids soon? Because if that's the case, they can't allow you for the meantime, because this job is very, very engaging, and they need your full attention, they need your full focus. I think I have experienced that once.
And if I may ask, was that the same question being posed to the masculine applicants?
I can't speak about that, or I can't speak for them, because I wasn't in the interviewing room with them. So I can only speak about myself.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
yes. So, like I was saying, gender equality today and then a sustainable tomorrow. About the topic, I think women, wide world, form a large population of the globe. So if we are going to create the opportunity for women to educate themselves enough, we are going to give them access to education. We are going to stop suppressing certain aspects of what they are doing. We are trying very much, or I think generally we've tried, or we've come a long way when it comes to gender equality. But then there is still more to do, especially with the stereotyping, the stigma. For example, the scenario I gave you, or what I experienced. So we've come far with gender equality, but then there is more to do when it comes to women. For example, I think when a woman is given the opportunity to be in a leadership position, specialization shouldn't be given to her because she's a woman. Or some people say, you are a woman, you're supposed to leave a print for the rest to follow. And I don't know how many men experience that, or how many men they tell that you're supposed to leave a track behind for someone to follow. So it puts unnecessary pressure on the woman on how she can easily make her potentials known, or how she can easily work around her things. Because there are expectations that because you are a woman and you've occupied a position, there is some kind of specialty to it. In a way, we think we are helping, but then it doesn't help most women because it just exerts unnecessary pressure on them. That's what I think. And then when there are countries or there are places, even in Ghana, where women still don't have access to certain things in life. It's somewhere in the north, there is this, is it Gambaga witch camp, something. They are still hunting women, older women, just because you are a witch. I've not seen that anywhere where men are equally being hunted for those things. So gender equality,
Okay.
yes, gender equality is broader than we see it. And till date, I feel like it shouldn't be a woman affair where we think that it is women. For instance, today, International Women's Day, personally, I've not seen any male politician designing a flyer to say that Happy International Women's Day. It is either the party women commissioner, or it is the female MP or something.
Not to cut you short, but I have seen a poster of one of the MPs designing. Actually, he was at the Honorable Amanor and then
Okay.
both of them were on the poster, and then they were wishing Happy International Women's Day. So I've seen that today.
That's great. Thanks for the information. But comparing to all the MPs we have, even in Volta region, you've seen one out of the many, I think we have more than 40, right?
In the Volta region,
Yes,
in the Volta, there are actually 8. Yes, it should be
8.
8. Mm.
Okay, thanks for the correction. So we've seen only one. You have seen, I haven't seen it though, so you have seen only one. So gender equality for me is a big discussion where we should move beyond the discussion that it's a women affair, that we should take it as if it's a human rights affair. So we talk about it, everybody is involved. When it's an International Women's Day, it's not about women being all passionate and women, the men should come along. I don't know how we are going to discuss that with the men, because I feel we are empowering ourselves, we are empowering the women, but we are leaving the men behind. Because the men are not understanding the agenda or the movement we are on. Some of them are enlightened, some of them are educated, some of them have had the exposure to understand what women empowerment, what feminism is about. Some men are actually feminists. But then I think we need to widen the scope where we involve everybody to understand that this is not only about women. We are trying to build a future for our children tomorrow, where any gender or both genders, female, male, can live in an environment and understand themselves to work together to build. That is what I think personally about gender equality. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. For the records, just for the records, it's actually 18 Volta regional MPs, and then rather 8 for OT. Yes, so for the records. During your opening statement, you made reference to, should I say, an experience you had with respect to being biased. But
Yes.
to me, I'm not exactly getting the point of being biased, of you being asked whether you are married and for it to be a qualification. Do you know the reason why they might have asked that? And if you could properly clarify your position on why you feel it is a biased treatment.
Okay. So, like I stated, I was informed, or the explanation was that the role or the position is very demanding and very involving. So they will need your full attention 24/7. Your attention will be needed fully. So getting married, probably you would have to give your attention to your husband. You would have to close early to go and see your husband or something. That means you have a divided attention. Or probably if you plan on getting married and having kids you have to attend to your children, what school and other things, or you get pregnant, you have to take leave off, they'll have to replace you, or that is where I mean that being biased, or that's how I felt that there was some kind of bias or unjust
Oh,
situation. Do you get it?
okay, so it means your position is that if you are married or you are planning to get married, you are not qualified. Okay,
You do.
you are qualified, but if you are not yet
You
married,
are
you are not
qualified.
qualified.
You are qualified, but you by your certificate, I am qualified, or for whatever documents I've presented, and including myself, my presentation is you are qualified. But then giving you the role or giving you the job
Okay,
is
okay,
where
the
the
managerial job.
exactly
Okay,
that is
okay,
the issue is.
okay, that's fine. We'll come back to you. We have Miss Christabel na Tsotsoo Larmie. If she's active, hello, Miss Christabel, are you active? Can you unmute yourself? Yes, very good. So, welcome. I want you to introduce yourself and tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm
And
active.
thereafter, yes, and thereafter present your
I
opening statement on the team.
am Right Honorable John. Is it to me or the other Christabel?
Okay, I'm actually referring to Christabel na Tsotsoo Larmie, former speaker of
Okay, okay,
GGAC. Yes,
okay. So that is me. Thank
yes,
you very
very
much
good.
for this opportunity. Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
As rightly said by your speaker, my name is Christabel na Tsotsoo Larmie. Um, he said we should tell about what we have done before, what we are doing, and what we
No,
are yet to do. If I heard him right,
like
but
we want
yeah,
to know more about you. We want to know more about you, who you are, and then you proceed to tell us your opening statement on the team.
sure. Okay, so I mentioned my name, that I am Christabel na Tsotsoo Larmie, and who I am. That's a very big question to answer. I don't know for the rest, but okay, so I am a simple lady who likes activism. So I don't condone to wrong things around me. So I'm always standing for right things. Though
Yes, Christabel, we are listening to you.
times where things or situations have made me calm to become the Speaker of Parliament, the First Lady Speaker actually. And then it actually opened avenues or opportunities for me to get into the wider scope of politics. The chance to get myself educated by Frederick Herbert Stiftung's Women. And I currently find myself as the Programs Officer of Open Foundation West Africa. And this NGO actually deals into the open movement. So we look at open resources and then we give it to people who are less privileged. So in terms of education, we use the KWIX app to promote education at countrysides or rural areas. And when it comes to acquiring soft skills, we go ahead to train people freely on how to edit Wikipedia and how to also upload pictures and also change the narrative of Africa on the internet, as well as increasing and bridging the content gap of Africa and the internet. If I find myself here today, it's actually a privilege, right, Honorable Speaker?
Yes, hello,
Because I remember
Christabel.
the
Is it
last time we met
possible?
in your region and we had a
Is it
chance to
possible?
speak. I
Yes,
will
hello.
not
Is
talk,
it
I will.
possible for us to have your video on? Is it possible? We want to see you.
I'm currently in a vehicle and where I am is dark, so
Okay. Okay.
I can't
No
actually
problem.
share a video. Yeah,
No
the life
problem.
in
Please
Accra.
proceed.
Sorry.
No problem.
So
Please proceed.
I'll go ahead to touch on the theme. So the first time I saw the hashtag, I was going through something online and I saw that the International Women's Day, let me say association globally, had launched the hashtag break the bias, and then it was looking at the theme we are looking at today, gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. Then I began to think about it and I'm like, gender equality, sustainability, then break the bias. In the quest to understand more, I sought for people's opinion on what they understand by break the bias. So is the thing that dawned on me is the fact that our cultural values in Africa and especially in Ghana has actually had an influence in what we see in our schools, what we see in our workplaces, what we see when it comes to education, what we see in the political sphere and the finance sector, the technology aspect. Is all because of our cultural background, where it's always men, men, men. And then when you a lady tend to do same, they tend to look for other opportunities to actually weigh you down. And I'm like, okay, so we need to break that bias. We need to sort for gender equality. And the speakers I heard have defined gender equality. They have spoken about the fact that we need equality in order to get things done in this country. Yes, without gender equality, there is no way sustainability can be achieved because sustainability works hand in hand with gender equality. Sustainability relies on the fact that discrimination towards women, children, the deprived, okay, can actually prolong sustainability. This is because if the economies are not improved, if societies have not been improved, then it means there's going to be a compromise when it comes to the natural environment and the benefits of the future generation. Because in this case, all attention has been shifted to one particular side, whilst the others have been left out in so many things. So when the world gets to a particular point where everyone is supposed to um, benefit from a lot of things from the environment, you will see that women are lacking, as we are lacking now, because the issues of climate change actually is affecting women more here in this country and in Africa and probably in the entire world. Okay, so breaking the bias, I would say that at our workplaces, wherever place we find ourselves, if we cannot break the bias, then criteria should be put out there. One of the ladies mentioned about stereotypes and stigmatization. Yes, because a woman is working in a reputable company, and then the moment probably she begins to experience her menstrual cramps at a part of the month, you see that they'll start saying that, oh, so I'm not say so baby. So let's see. She's a woman. She has all these conditions. Yet she wants to occupy this position. Or she's married. She's this. She's that. She has these health issues. And a whole lot of excuses just to bring the woman down. So I am advocating that in order to break the bias, then at our various workplaces, in the political aspect, any aspect of development in the entire world, there should be a criteria where everyone, based on their roles, would be what? I won't call it judged, but will be let me say rewarded, or let me say applauded for the works they are doing. We shouldn't compare women's deeds to that of men. Yes, we are seeking for equality, but we are not seeking them. Men will use feel comfortable and acceptable in the world in which we find ourselves today. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. You actually spoke on a bias situation. Are there more examples you can give to prove that yes, indeed, it appears the feminine gender is being treated biased? It's being biased. Because for me, I think most of the situations that we hear, you can hear about the fact that the boyfriend is giving so much to the girl, but still, the work. Don't you think in that case, the feminine was actually biased because was virtually taking advantage of the guy? What do you say about that? And if you can add more examples to defend your case on this, thank you.
Right, Honorable. Please, can you reiterate your question again? I'm having an issue with the network, so there was a break.
Yes, I was talking about if you could add more points to strengthen your position on the fact that yes, that biasness ought to be broken. And I cited in my objection that in the case of when a girlfriend is making so much demands on the boyfriend, talking about buying me iPhone, this and that, then this and that, the guy is spending so much just to sustain the girl. In that circumstance, don't you think that the feminine gender was really biased towards the masculine one? And then if you could add more examples to defend your position that yes, in most occasions, it is the masculine who is biased. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much for your question. I'll take it from the girlfriend-boyfriend aspect. So the girlfriend making demands on the boyfriend, I will take it from a different point of view, actually. So, you know that with our cultural background, women are made to depend on men to make every provision for them. It is not so long ago in the case where modernization and let me say a lot of sensitization has actually brought to the fact that women can actually stand on their own without depending on men. So if you see, it's the fact that women are taking more from the men. It could be a particular issue which has been cultivated due to our cultural background. Okay, that makes it say that women have to take from the men. Do you get my point of view? So I wouldn't say that men are being biased in the case that every day women are taken from them. It is the kind of understanding they have for relationship, understanding they have for how they are to see men. That's how come they would make demands on men. From my own point of view, with all the knowledge I have acquired through school and a lot of things, I have learned to be dependent on my own without always depending on my man for petty things. He himself understands that I do not want to take much from him, and sometimes he will push that take this. So it all has to do with the education and how we understand a lot of things and how we were brought up. That is how come all these things are happening. So for instance,
yes,
in the Western world, you know that at a particular age, even whilst they are in college, they are actually supposed to work. They are working, and then they earn money. And then those monies, some use to spend on themselves, some save. So why is that here is different? It's because of the cultural backgrounds we all find ourselves in. If we were to have the same education or the background they are having, I'm not sure women or these ladies you're talking about will keep depending on their boyfriends. And then with the other examples of biases, I mentioned the workplace, and I mentioned the fact that women in high positions, because of probably a menstrual this child that comes daily, every woman has its own troubles when it comes to menstruation. Some go through it easily, some do not. Some even get crippled and cannot even move until they are done with their discharge. So this actually affects their work done in the office. and it affects productivity. So in this case, there could be instigations that she says she's a woman, because I know about a particular case where a woman bleeds like 2 weeks, and so when it happens like that, she goes off for 2 weeks. The issue is that sometimes when it happens, we do not know how to communicate with our male bosses that this is what we are actually going through, so that we be excused to, or find someone who can chip in so that part of my money can be given to the person to, so within the 2 weeks for which the person actually has to go away. In the political sphere, actually, when it comes to committee setup, okay, women, I'm saying this because probably I might have worked in the Parliament House before, but it is not easy for a woman to be part of a committee. It's actually not easy for them at all. Imagine having the gender ministry, and then you aside a woman heading it, you have a man somewhere there, a very sensitive ministry. Do you get what I'm talking about? So when it also comes to other aspects of the political sphere, when women are going for positions, they are being attacked with the fact that they do not have financial resources, they are not capable, women are weak, women are this, women are that, finding excuses to pull women back. And all you hear women going for National Women's Organizer, how do I call it, bring yourself, Women's League this, Women's League that, where you can actually have women going for chairmanship, flag bearers, hardly, except for the small parties that came up, CPP, PNC, and the rest. They are trying hard because of their belief in the Nkrumah factor. Okay, but for the other parties, it's actually not easy for a woman to go to the top. All you see there is to take the mayor positions because that's what they see fit. Then you have these godfathers and godparents in the politics telling them that this is what is good for you. Who tells what is good for who? If a mother is able to take care of a child at home and knows what is good for his child, then that same mother can also tell what is good for a particular nation, can tell what is good for a particular association. Why then should a man tell a woman that this is actually good for you and there's no good for you? Why can't they make us take our decisions and the risk ourselves? So these are some questions you can ponder about.
Yes, but for the records, are you aware the National Democratic Congress have appointed a lady as the running mate?
Again, aside the previous one.
Yes.
I know of the other one.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yes, I'm aware. They did that, trying to break. But do you even know that even with that, maybe one part I didn't add with the gender bias is the fact that even women sometimes, that's the other side of it, women sometimes create these biases, even women. So yes, I may have said that we are trying or we are doing everything possible to break the bias, but some point in time, some women try to create the biases. That is how come they'll say women are their own enemies. We actually aren't. It is the understanding that we have. Thank you very much.
I'll get back to you. Let's receive our next panelist. She is in the person of Allnice Adams. She is currently the National Service Personnel Association Home Municipal Hours Women Commissioner. Miss Allnice Adams, if you are online, kindly switch on your video and unmute yourself and tell us who you are and proceed with your opening statement on the theme for today's program.
All right. Good evening.
We want to see your video. We want to see you.
Good evening.
Yes, evening. We want to see you. Please switch on your video.
Okay. I'm Adams Allnice. The NASPA will come for Home Municipal and Horace districts. I want to use this medium to wish all women International Happy Women's Day, and also to challenge them that the sky is the limit. We are kicking off Women's History Month by recognizing the achievements of the legendary women who are blazing their own historical trails. Ghana is Ghana today because of the hard work of females like Yasantua, Tedosiauko, Ama Ata Edu, Alessa Fum, and a whole lot. In fact, let me chip in this. I am proud to say Ghana is a motherland because she was born on Thursday. That is why she's got Asase. Yeah.
We'll get back to you on that. Proceed.
International Women's Day is a global celebration that highlights the achievements of women championing economic, political, and social causes worldwide. This year's theme is breaking the bias. This is to encourage women and also to challenge themselves to do beyond their expectation. Women face a lot of challenges such as lack of education, gender discrimination, gender pay gap, sexual harassment. We talk of lack of education right now. We have our sisters up there that are not given the chance to enter the classroom because they've been tagged that the kitchen is for them. Gender discrimination too has to do with the fact that we keep on saying engineers are men. Rather, we can say they are both. Let me talk about gender bias. When we say gender bias, it involves particularly and especially favoritism to a specific gender. It could be male or female. In our world today, men are considered for several work positions than women, and you can attest to that. The only time women are considered are when their outlook appeals to their employers. Other times, females are considered than males. I personally know of a welder who is a female and does very well. We've heard a lot of cases where ladies had to offer sex to acquire jobs. Are men also treated that way? No. We've had cases where, based on strength, men are considered than women. All we want to say about breaking the bias is that both gender should be considered based on their strength and capabilities, including their demand and qualification as well, not gender bias. This is why International Women's Day is celebrated.
Okay. Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Oh, nice. Thank you. I have one question for you before I move to the next panelist. You are actually centered on gender equality, regardless of the fact that it is tailored towards the feminine or the masculine. If I may ask you, are there some cases that you can clarify to us, which is proof that the male, there is even gender bias towards the male? Are there some scenarios you can share with us with respect to that?
Please come again with your question.
Yes, I'm talking about you were actually focused on the fact that gender equality is not only for the female, it is also for the male as well. Are there some examples you can cite of biasness towards the male gender in this circumstance? I hope you got the question.
No, please.
Okay, you don't worry. We'll come back to you and hopefully you'd answer that. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to move to our next guest panelist, which is in the person of Ms. Ekua Manan Asase. She's the speaker of Takoradi Technical University SRC General Assembly. Ms. Ekua, kindly tell us about yourself, positions you have held, and proceed to give us the opening statement on the theme for today's panel discussion. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to apologize for my absence in the group or for me leaving in the group in the first place. I'm having a bit of
Don't
a
worry.
challenge with my network and all that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
don't
like you
worry.
said, my name is Ekua and Asase. I'm currently the speaker for TPU SRC General Assembly. And previously, the previous positions I have held, including being the vice president for my department, currently the legal chair for my department, former research for the Debaters Club, and currently the president for the Debaters Club, the host for the interdepartmental debate. I was the president for the Writers and Debaters Club in FHS, and I'll say I was the school prefect way back in JHS. So I've held a series of positions everywhere I find myself. I like to set myself as an example to other females who would also want to pick up leadership roles because basically most of the places I've been, I see females trying to hide competitions and all that. But that is just another discussion for another day. So moving on to the theme for today, we are talking about gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. Hashtag break the bias. First of all, I'd like to take some of the keywords in the theme that was given today. So equality basically means that
Hello, Manan. Um, hello. Okay, I think her network kind of caught up with us. If she's back, we'll continue. I can see that we have online Miss Kendall, Elizabeth Mante. I can also see Vanessa, then the others. We'll be hearing from all of you as well before we move deep into the discussions with our co-host. I can see. Okay, I can see Peggy Ita as well. So yes,
yes,
okay.
please can you hear
Please proceed. Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed.
hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed.
Okay. So like I was saying earlier on, when you talk about equality, it is something very broad. Sometimes I believe females we are the ones who actually cause the biasness amongst ourselves. Taking into consideration a scenario where we hear males that
Yes, hello. It appears Manam's network is not that strong. I don't know why, but the network is not that strong. Okay, she just went offline. Thought I saw. Okay, yes, she's around. Okay.
yes.
Since she's back, yes, we are listening. Yeah.
So like I was saying earlier on, when you talk about equality, sometimes it's not only about males being biased towards the females. It's also about females being biased towards our own selves because we don't believe in ourselves that much. And sometimes I would say that women, we don't try to push ourselves enough to break that barrier of saying that some positions are for men. Because I believe that the major reason why we all are able or given the opportunity to attend school is to improve on our knowledge-based skills. And aside that, school also impacts into us the ability to think outside the box and also make decisions for the corporate world or also fit into the corporate world. Moving on to what I said earlier on, females being biased towards other females, and it is causing a whole lot of harm than good to ourselves as females. Breaking the biasness, I think would start with females ourselves changing our ideology. We have to change our ideology about females holding positions or females being in certain roles and being equal to men. When you talk about we being equal to men, we are not talking about physical strength. We are talking about intellectual, how intellectual the female is, and the ability or capability of the female to hold positions and do it much better than the male. I mostly look at females who are in leadership roles or in higher positions, and I see them doing much better than even the younger men. I see a woman being the vice dean. I see a woman being the dean of students. I see her being able to bring up things that even the men couldn't even think about. So why do we have to be biased towards our own self? Why should we ourselves discourage other females from going into leadership roles and even fighting against them? When you can all come together, work together, and push females up there. I think these are some of the key questions we should ask ourselves, because when you're talking about biasness, it's not only males being biased to females. Females also are biased to ourselves with the ideology we are being given by society sometimes. I wouldn't say all the time, but sometimes by society. So I think this is something we can say about the thing today.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Ekua, for your opening statement. I do have some questions, but I would like to pose it to all panelists. But before then, I'd like us to receive not the last, but whenever possible, we can also receive. For now, I'd like us to receive Miss Kendall Elizabeth Mante. She was the former ATU Women Commissioner, and Elijah Kanadi, who is also online. So I'm very sure Mr. Elijah is very happy. And yes, so one will hear from her. She also served as the youth minister for gender, children, and social protection under UNYA. So Miss Kendall, if you are active, kindly unmute yourself and then tell us who you are, positions you have held, and then if possible, your opinion on International Women's Day theme for today. Kendall, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. My name is Kendall Elizabeth Mante, former SRC Women's Commissioner, Whole Technical University. Positions I've held. Okay, so I was the former judicial clerk to the Vera Fafa Agbenya administration. I was also the EC secretary for Bodia Akolache Hall. I became the departmental PRO for the Department of Food Science and Technology and the PRO for the Faculty of Applied Sciences and Technology. I think
Yes, hello.
I'll leave it over there. The rest can come later. So my opinion, like the Speaker of TTU Parliament said, women, we are our own enemies. Once we can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Hello,
hear you.
hear
Please proceed. We can hear you. Proceed. Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed.
Okay, so once we realize that our fellow lady is climbing up, what we actually do is that we do our very best to bring her down instead of aiding her to move higher. And then usually this affects our emotional well-being. You know, women are very sensitive when it comes to issues of such, because once they are trying to come into the limelight and then you're trying to bring their spirit down, they feel as if they are not wanted and then they want to withdraw back. There are very few people who will not give up and then would want to move ahead, tend to do that with some kind of attitude and hatred embedded within them. And so I think, like what she said, it starts from us giving each other an opportunity. But well, I don't blame society in a way, because when women, we take power, when we are given the chance to be at the top there are certain things we exhibit that at the end of the day, people feel that we shouldn't be given the second chance, or we shouldn't be given the opportunity to showcase what we have again. For example, being our enemies, like I said, once the two women start fighting over what they could have amicably solved, it makes people feel as if, okay, wherever women are found, there is gossip, there is hate. And so nobody wants to hear about today's woman again. But I believe that society can try each and every woman out there, depending on her personality and what she has to offer, rather than generalizing the attitudes of women and denying some competent women who can be in a position. Therefore, I believe that this particular theme they are using this year has come at the right time, because in this 21st century, everybody is fighting for equality. And as the former Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, I have witnessed quite a number of gender biases during my tenure of office. And then I believe that going forward, there should be more education about what women stand for, what women can do, and then the qualities majority of them possess. We should be able to educate the other gender to see the uniqueness amongst us. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll have Ms. Vera speak on, contribute on a matter being said on floor. Ms. Vera, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to touch a little on women being their own enemies. I've always had a problem with that, because I believe women, we've been trained, or we've come to accept, let me use the word, we've been trained, that competition is the best way to prove our existence. So you find a woman competing with the other woman over clothes, dresses. I can do it better, or I can occupy this better than she could. And I think competition in itself is not a bad thing, because it makes you want to achieve more, it makes you want to know more, it makes you want to develop yourself. So competition in itself within among women is not a bad thing at all. My problem is that we are treating equality as though it's a must, or it's a right of women to support women. Fine, there is an agenda, there is a movement that women should be given a platform. But it shouldn't be perceived as though women must, I don't know how to put it, it is compulsory that once a woman is in a leadership role, all women are supposed to support her.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
it makes me think that one way or the other, women, as much as we are talking about equality, as much as we want to move forward, we are still allowing society to determine for us what we are supposed to do and what we are not supposed to do. Because when you're talking about a platform for you to have an equal opportunity with a man, it should be a platform. It is not about your personal feelings. It is not about, because in my case, when I was going for SLC president, I was told the same thing. Women are their own enemies. These women are not going to support you. So at the beginning, I was even reluctant on approaching women. So I was dealing with the men. But then at a point, I realized, no, why don't I approach the women and convince them why they should join me and we should do this? And surprisingly, when I started approaching 1, 2, 3 women and explaining to them why I'm better for the position than my opponent, my campaign team, my whole election team was made of women. I had nothing to do. They did everything for me. So I think that we should go beyond the fact that we feel we are women. We are coming into a position, or women are occupying a position. So all women are supposed to support you. The agenda should not be a women discussion agenda. It should be a general, how do I put it? Like the way we treat any other issue, like the way we treat human rights, the way we treat freedom of speech. It should be a general issue that we are talking about. It is not a woman affair. Women, it is natural. We have competitions among each other. And I think it's not bad. If I don't understand you, we disagree to agree. I am gone. That is it. There is nothing personal going beyond. I am emotional. And there are men, there are children, there are other disability people who are very emotional. Do you get it? So it has nothing to do with the fact that you are a female. It is your ability to be able to manage it and treat the people around you when you are in that moment. That matters. So I feel like women, we are not our enemies. It is just the fact that we are not understanding, or we are not stepping into someone else's shoes, because we feel that it is our right the moment a woman comes up. That's why when Nana Jane Opoku Prof came up, the NDC brought her up with the thought that because she's a woman, we are all going to support her. But Nana, to me personally, didn't appeal to me as a young woman how I should trust in her. Do you get it? So, for instance, to me, if you bring a young lady who is articulate, speaks to me, and understands the next steps or plans she has beyond what the party has told her to, I would support her. Do you get it? Or you could advocate for her more. But then I wouldn't decide because she is a woman and I want a woman to fill the position. That is why I'm supporting her. Fine, we are advocating. We support women to be in such positions. But it is not a right of you that once you are in an office, all women are supposed to support you. You are to convince them the same way the man has convinced them to join him, or the same way a man aspiring for the same position will convince other people to support him. You are supposed to do the same thing to convince your other women why you are better off than the other person. That's what I think. So I think women being their own enemies, I've never agreed, and I don't see the time that I'm going to support that ideology. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Actually, you indirectly clarified the question I was hoping to pose to all panelists. So, if anything, the other panelists will answer on that later. Before we have Miss Diana Balo, she just left. Okay, let's see. I want to put on record that women are actually serving in very sensitive leadership positions, and these are some of the examples I would like to cite. In the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the president is a female, the Speaker of their House of Representatives is a female, and the Speaker of their Senate, the President of their Senate is a female. When you go to South Africa, the former Speaker of the National Assembly is actually the Deputy President, if I'm right. And then the former Speaker who has actually served as Chairperson of their National Council of Provinces, and then who have also served as a Speaker of their National Assembly, is currently serving as their Minister for Interior. They currently have a female as their Speaker of their National Assembly. And then if you go to, even coming to our motherland, KNUST currently has a female Vice Chancellor. And then UCC, is it UCC or UEW, had a female Vice Chancellor before, who is actually Prof. Narh Opoku. And then currently, UG is actually promoting this agenda. On record, UG actually has their Chancellor as a female, who is Chinihezi, if I'm right. Then they have a former Chief Justice of the Republic, who is in the person of her ladyship. I'm very sure is it Sophia Akufo? Yes, as the chairperson of Governing Council. And then just recently, they inducted a female as their Vice Chancellor, who is in the person of is Prof. Nana Ampofu. I'm very sure Ampo, something like that. And then they also have their registrar as a female. They have their registrar as a female on record. And I'm very sure there are more examples that if the panelists or whoever has a statement or contribution can actually add to it. But these are the ones that I want to place on record. We also have currently online, we have Miss Peggyita Abena Dogbefu, who is also one of the panelists. Miss Peggyita, if you could unmute yourself and switch on your video and tell us who you are, the positions you are serving in, and then just your opinion, a brief opinion on the team. Then from there, we can move to questions to panelists to have a very more interactive session before we bring the program to a close. Peggyita, the floor is yours. Yes, Peggyita, the floor is yours. You can unmute yourself and speak. Okay, if Peggyita is not active, then I would like to move straight to the questions or the interactive session. Whenever Dinah comes, we'll also hear from Dinah. But I hope all our panelists are active online. I have some questions for you. I have some questions for the panelists. If you have an answer, you can just unmute yourself and give your opinion on it. Where we have a clash, I'll just designate someone to speak. This question is very sensitive, so I know you have a lot to speak on it. The question is to all panelists: which gender are relationships biased towards? In your opinion, is it the male gender or the female gender? You give us your answer and defend your answer. Any panelist who wishes to speak can just unmute herself and then can speak on that. Then if there's any male ones, we'll hear from them. So our panelists, yes. Yes, Vera, you can speak.
Yeah, I want to clarify. Relationship as in, is it a romantic relationship, or what kind of relationship are you talking about? Or general relation with someone?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me clarify myself. I'm talking about romantic relationships.
Okay. Okay, so when I started, I made a point, or I stated that gender equality is a big issue. When we are talking about equality, we are not talking about an individual person taking a life decision or taking a business decision. That's not what we are talking about. So we don't discuss it more like a religious thing, or we don't discuss it more like a cultural thing. We are looking about having the opportunity, let's say for instance, having access to a platform or a national platform. Let's say I'm in my community, I should have the same platform as a man when I want to be a council head. I should have the same ability or the same platform to access resources that the whole community is contributing to. Do you get it? So we don't want the case where we are limiting equality to minor things. Let me use the word, excuse my language, but minor things, which in a way does not contribute to a lady or a girl who is somewhere in the north being married to an elderly man over almost 92 years. That doesn't affect her in any way. Or it doesn't affect the 60 years old lady at Gambaga witch camp being called a witch, her fingers being cut off and all that. It doesn't relate to her in any way. So let's try as much as possible not to limit gender equality into a competition between a male and a female. That is not the cause. The reason why men are usually mentioned when it comes to women is because they have been given that priority in society. That's why it is usually related to them. But we should clarify that gender equality is not a fight between men and women. One of the speakers did state that it's not a physical battle. That's not what it is. It is about resources, having the same platform, having the same opportunity, and being allowed to take advantage of it. But then, if I'm shifting focus to your question, I would say in a relationship or a romantic relationship is entirely dependent on what you and your partner decides on what is best for you. To me, it is not bad. Everybody needs help. So if your man feels like, okay, he wants to assist you to get your things, fine. If the woman feels like, I want to be independent, it's fine. There are other situations where the women take advantage of the men. Probably they are not interested in the man, but then they still allow the man to invest in them or give them some things that they would want for themselves. That I would say is an individual behavior and it's an individual decision. It has nothing to do with the totality of women, because there are actually women there who are independent and their boyfriends are complaining that you are independent, you don't allow me to buy stuff for you. So it's either you're not serious with me or you are having someone else. So there are 8 situations like that. That's why I would want us to take equality out of the aspects of minor relationship or personal decision making.
Okay, thank you. I know you clarified not to involve culture, but I'm still interested in the case of society saying that it is only or it is more appropriate for the male gender to propose a relationship or marriage.
Exactly.
Um, yes. Can I just have your take on that?
Um, uh, like you're saying, culturally, it is known. It is known like that, or that is what we are uh, accepted, or we've accepted. So, how I want to find the best way to go about it, because in other countries, I think women pay the man's bride price. I know of some other countries
Yeah,
where
in India.
women actually pay the bride price of the man. It is the woman's family actually who goes to marry the man.
I
But then
see.
yes, the cultures like that that I know of.
Mm.
So I think when talking about religion, I was trying to put it in a way more like, for instance, Christianity, or sometimes when you're talking about equality, someone saying that you can't compete with a man. The Bible says the man is the head, a woman is the helper. So I was coming from that angle. That's why, in a way, I introduced the culture or the religion. That's how come I went there. But where we are coming from in Africa, they say civilization is good, or we are developing. So certain things we don't do them as they used to do, or they are not as they used to be. But then you can't change your life in totality. So there are certain things you can adapt that works for you. There are certain things that doesn't work for you. And I think our society is yet to accept the fact that women can propose to men.
Mm.
Our society, we haven't reached there yet. But I think in itself, it's not a bad idea. So if I'm dating a guy 4 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, and I feel like, Charlie, I'm growing, I want to marry. Come and let's marry. I have all the finances. I can pay your bride price.
Sure, sure, sure.
Your bride price. I should be able to. But then we have not gotten there yet. So I wouldn't want to probably rush in discussing it or anything. Yeah.
Uh, okay, thank you very much. Ms. Ekua, I think you have a contribution to this question. If you have, kindly proceed.
Okay, so taking it from the cultural aspect, like we were discussing earlier on, it's not only about society deeming it right for the man to propose only. In society, there are also other gender biases towards the females and the males as well. Like in relationships, they say it is in the genes of men to cheat. But when a woman cheats, she is considered as it's considered as an abomination and could even be disgraced by the man and the family. But when the man goes out to cheat, the family comes back to say, "Oh, he's a man." So that it's part of them and it's in their genes. So these are some of the things that affect women psychologically because
Yeah.
after all that has happened to them, they also have to go back to their loving husbands and pretend as if they are happy in the relationship simply because they have made us believe that it's in the genes of men to cheat or to behave in a certain way in a relationship. Again, in a relationship, when a woman does something to a man, it is expected of the man not to cry because they say men don't cry. It is one of the biasness towards men in a relationship. You understand? So looking at it from the cultural aspect and relationship, in terms of relationship, there are a whole lot of bias towards the man and the woman. And I feel both of them aren't right in any way. If you put
Okay.
it in the mindset of little men growing up that it is in the genes of men to cheat. So even if the child it wasn't trained up to even be a cheater or anything, as far as society is giving it right, it is good to go. And then it affects the woman psychologically. We don't take that into consideration. But then when a lady cheats right now, you see the number of Obisapini and pastors who have to come in to apologize on the woman's behalf. And at the long run, the man will still have to divorce the woman because he deems it as an abomination. So taking it
Okay.
from the cultural and social aspects of relationship, there are a whole lot of biasness. So now I think it leaves a lot of discussion from that side when we bring it to the cultural side and social aspects of relationship. Because
Okay.
if you take a lady for instance, okay, you take women for instance, we are made to deem that women are to cook for the husband. So when a woman comes back from work and is even tired beyond even cooking or even beyond standing, the woman still has to cook. If she refuses to cook for a week, the man will have to go to the family to go and talk to the mother and is this how you raise your child and all that? But assuming a man doesn't have money, we deem it as their responsibility. The civil society also deems it as the responsibility of the man to also give to the woman in terms of feeding, right? Here is the case when a man is unable to provide for the family or is unable to give the wife an amount of money as stock money in the house. That one, nobody would see that because he doesn't have money, you should leave him or anything. Society will tell you to stick with the man. But being the female, if you are unable to perform your duty, it is deemed as wrong, and your parents and everything has to come in. So these are some of the things we have to tackle as youth, as we are growing up and all that. These are some of the discussions we have to bring on board because they are outmoded. These are some of the things we shouldn't even condone or tolerate. We should rather invite in our youngsters and all those people coming up that certain things are like we say
Um, I think Manam had gone a little bit offline. Um, okay, I'll take it as I'll take it that she's done with her presentation. From here
which I believe
henceforth,
are
okay,
wrong. If a man cheats, we should accept that he's a cheater. And if the woman wants to divorce the man or take any legal action towards the man, it should be accepted by the society and not deemed it as the woman wanting her freedom or the woman not being considerate with the man. So these are some of the things I believe we should be bringing up in terms of cultural relationships.
okay, indeed. Thank you very much, Miss Manam. From henceforth, questions to panelists. If in case a participant also has a contribution, you can also unmute yourself and speak. I have some few
The
questions for the
line is
panelists.
breaking.
My line is breaking. Oh, okay. My network is actually strong. However, I believe you cannot hear me. Can you all hear me? Okay, she said her line is breaking. No problem. So, as I said, henceforth, questions to the panelists can equally be answered by participants as well. So, my next question is that do we think illiteracy is the cause to abuses of a gender? Let's take it that illiteracy is a cause to the abuse of the feminine gender in most cases. How do you think about that? Is illiteracy a cause to abuses or gender inequality? If you have a response, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Your question.
Yes, the question is, do we think illiteracy is a contributing cause or a contributing factor to gender inequality? Yes, I've sent the question to the call. Yes. Have you seen the question?
Not easy. Please, is it in the chat?
Yes, is illiteracy a contributing factor to inequality? That's the question. Yes, I've sent it in the chat box. So whoever, yes, proceed.
Illiteracy in terms of, please, can you clarify? Illiteracy in terms of the workplace inequality or
Yes. It's just a general question. Is illiteracy a contributing factor to inequality? Yes or no, and then you defend your answer.
Can I talk?
Yes, please. Yes. Please proceed.
Okay. So literacy contributes. It's one of the factors, but it's not a major factor. It's not a major factor, but then it's also one of the factors to contributing to gender inequality, because knowledge is power. Knowledge is you knowing that someone touching certain parts of my body is not the right thing for the person to do without my permission. Knowledge of knowing how abuse looks like. Knowledge of knowing how a man should be treated. Knowledge of knowing that you are human, you are not a robot. That you can actually express yourself freely and not think that because society thinks of you as a man, you cannot behave like a human. So I think illiteracy contributes to it, but then it's not a major factor.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other contribution to this question? If there are no other contributions, I'll continue.
Yeah,
I'll proceed.
Actually,
Okay, yes, Christabel.
yes, I actually side with I can't get her name, but Agbenya, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is a factor, but not a major one, because even in let me go back to cultural background. We are taught during our puberty rights, okay, some do's and don'ts. We didn't need to go to school before knowing that our parents taught us through the local dialect, right? So it's actually not a factor. It's actually not a major factor to inequality, because in that sense we have been socialized from home how to keep ourselves, how to stay off, and a lot of things. So it shouldn't or will not be a major factor, as rightly said by Agbenya. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to ask a follow-up question, but we have one of our guest panelists, Ms. Diana Balo. Her network has been on and off, so since she's active, let's hear from her who she is and then her opinion on the theme for today's panel discussion. Ms. Dana Balo, the floor is yours. Briefly. Hello, Ms. Dana Balo. Are you active?
Yeah, hello.
Yes. Kindly
Yeah,
tell us about
yes,
yourself
please, I'm here.
and yes, and then your opinion on the theme for today's discussion.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm Dina Yabalu. I think per the description, I'm supposed to introduce myself as the founder of Sisterhood Ghana, and I'm honored to be here. So, like the theme said, gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. I think most of the panelists have said a lot, though I was joining and going back and forth due to the network. I think I had amazing points and I would agree with them. The little I have to say on this is today being our day, we need to accept the fact that as women, we are supposed to be keep each other's keepers. And if we are expecting that equality is given to us on all grounds, yet among ourselves, we can accord, acknowledge, and respect our feelings, our rights, and our opinions as women, then I don't think this can be achieved no matter how long we invest or put in effort. So, I think I would say is we need to preach more on the fact that before anything can be done about equality externally or to the opposite gender, I think among ourselves we need to build that first and create the platform to allow the fact that our opposite gender can accord us the needed respect, rights, and I think that's it. Yeah. And with this, it will help build a sustainable tomorrow for generations yet to come, and even for ourselves that are looking at going into leadership roles, trying other briefly.
Okay. Thank you very much. And in the interactive session, you can still contribute. My next follow-up question to the question I asked previously is, are women naturally weak? And if they are or they are not, are they supposed to be weak? And what are your analysis on this issue of weakness of the feminine gender? Whoever has a contribution can unmute and speak.
Okay, let me talk on that. Women are not weak, like we are actually the most strongest if you want to compare us to men, because we may not speak it out, but women actually have been made naturally to take in certain things that I doubt if men can take. So it's society and then the mentality of today that is liking it that women are sometimes weak just because they say men are strong, men don't speak about their pain, and women are sometimes speaking about it. It doesn't change the fact that women are the most strongest compared to men, not physical strength, but psychologically, emotionally, and everything. So that anyone else.
Thank you. The floor is
Then
open.
actually, you
Um,
and
okay,
stronger.
let's hear from
And
Christabel. Yeah.
you know that when it comes to men's how do I call it, measure of strongness, it's mostly looked at the physical aspect of it. But when it comes to emotions and stuff, I think we women are stronger compared to men because, as rightly said by her, the things we take in probably men cannot take in. But because physically we are not strong, we are identified as weak or weaker vessels by the society. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the clarity. Yes, Miss Vera.
Yeah. I think siblings are strong in their own capacities because we have women who beat their husbands. So if that's not strength, I don't think that's a problem. But the problem is that we are both Male, female, we are both different genders, and then we contribute or we have different strengths. So to me, I don't think women are weak, but then we can't compare them to how they should be, or we can't qualify the strength of a woman compared to that of a man. I don't know how to put it, but then I'm just trying to say that women are also strong in their own capacities and what they can do. Because if it's about physical, I know a woman that beats her husband very well. So physically, it's not a problem. So we are all strong in our own ways and how we go about our own things. That's what I will contribute.
Thank you very much. We are getting to the end of the program gradually. However, I think not to be biased, if there is a question from anyone to the whole house, the floor is open for you to ask pertaining to our team. If you have any question on our discussion for today, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Please, can you come back again? I didn't really hear what you said. My network went.
Yes, questions. If you have questions to the whole panel or the whole house, you can ask. If you have any question pertaining to the team.
Okay, Jones.
Yes, please.
What if it's not a question, but I guess I joined late, so I don't know if I'm allowed to speak on the break the bias hashtag
Yes.
for today.
Sure, please
Okay,
proceed.
so okay, thank you. With that, I did a little bit of research and I was trying to actually understand how personally as an individual I can contribute to actually achieving this tag or this statement. And I realized that this is not limited to just women. We are supposed to educate our other gender, that is the male part, to help us achieve this. So when we say break the bias, we are talking about not actually limiting our capabilities or ourselves to things that society tags as things for women. I mean, if you don't take the risks and try out things, obviously they will keep limiting you and they will keep ridiculing you to the fact that this is the category you belong to or this is who you are. And so that bias statement can be fully taken off. We as individuals must step up our games too. And then, like I said earlier, if we don't do it ourselves, no one can actually accord us that respect or acknowledgement. So that's a little research I did on breaking the bias, and I think we all should take it up, practice it, preach it as much as we can, try to cultivate the habit of breaking the bias ourselves among our thoughts, our beliefs, our capabilities and competencies. When we break it in there, then we can preach that it should be broken among the gender and then I think both genders. Yeah. So that's the little I have to say on the hashtag.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Before we move, yes, is there any other question or contribution? Because we are getting to the end of the program. Maybe you have something to say that I might have not asked a question on. The floor is yours to speak on it. The floor is yours.
Yes, I would
Yes,
like to
please.
add to say that gender equality is not a ladies based issue, or it's not involving, or it's not just about women. The men should help us to advocate more about it. Probably we are running at a pace that men are yet catching up, but then it's nice, it's appealing, it's very encouraging when you see men who are feminists, when you see men who are gender advocates, and a couple of them who have had the understanding very, very supportive. But then it looks as if we are trying to make it or uh, put it in the perspective that it's a competition between two genders, and then we are going to see who is going to survive. And that is what is drawing us back from all that has been achieved so far. So, if possible, if you are in a community and you feel like a woman is in a leadership position and she's not making you feel comfortable, you can approach her like you approach your fellow man and think, okay, I'm supporting you. Probably the way you are talking to me, I do not like it. Can we go about it like this, like that, and then we can see how we move forward? But then we shouldn't tag the woman that, okay, because she's a woman, she's emotional, and she doesn't know how to handle pressure and all that. Then we sit in our corners and judge. We should be able to approach the woman just like the way you approach your colleague. She might not take it well. Some people are very difficult and understanding certain things. But then it is how you approach the person, put yourself in the person, communicate what you really are portraying. So the men, we've come a long way, but there is more to do. Let's support women to understand themselves, their roles, and how best we can all work together to push society forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is a question from the participants to all the guest panelists. The question is from Peggy Tabenandabrofu. The question is, she wants to know what makes a woman empowered, or what should a woman do to feel empowered? The question is, what makes a woman empowered, or what should a woman do to feel empowered? So if you have an answer to that, you can unmute yourself and speak on empowerment
Okay.
of women. Yes, please.
For the other aspect of the question, what a woman
Okay.
should know or do to feel empowered? To whoever asks this question, I'll say believe in yourself that you can achieve it. You can rise, you can do anything. The moment you begin to break those limitations from your mentality or from your mind, it then gets to manifest itself in the physical. Because as the Bible rightly says, that the way a man thinketh, so he sees himself. So if you don't feel or believe in yourself in achieving anything, then there's no way you're going to achieve it, or there's no way you're going to feel empowered. So you should first believe in yourself, then you get determined to implement whatever thing you want to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Miss Dinah, you have an answer to that. Yes.
Yeah. So I think I support what Christabel, right? Yeah, I support what she said. To add to that, there is no formula for empowering ourselves. We are all unique beings having different things that work for us. So I think the person needs to Pegita, right? Yeah. If it applies to you, first of all, you need to assess yourself and see what works for you most, and put yourself in an open situation whereby you don't limit yourself to just one formula or one process. Probably in this situation, empowering yourself this way would work. In another situation, you will need to change that method of empowerment. So basically, you need to try all things and then fuse the ones that you feel works for you best. And like she said, you need to be determined, you need to work hard, you need to believe in who you are, what you do, what you are capable of, and allow yourself that sometimes the risks and failures are normal. So that's what I have to say on that question. Empowerment is it's an open thing. You need to first of all practice it internally before you identify what works for you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So,
Yes, I think
Okay,
Manan,
to
you
add
have
up,
a
I want to
yes.
say that don't
what?
be afraid to take
Yes.
risks as a woman. Don't be afraid to take risks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Manam, I think you have a contribution to this. Please speak on it.
So, like I was listening to my sisters also giving their contribution. uh, from that aspect of you motivating yourself would be an intrinsic motivation. Looking at the extrinsic motivation as well could be taking people as role models. Most of the time, the mistake some of we the females we make is to take people who are way, 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 way above. And sometimes we overwork ourselves to get empowered. Sometimes you can look within your environment, females who are trying their best to push themselves up there. You can take them as your mentors or anything, and you can go to them for some of their advices. Sometimes they'll give you directive and directions as to anything that you are doing if you take them as your role models because they are very close to you and you can easily get information from them. So as you move on, after you getting empowered from those around you, that is when you can move yourself up into getting people who are way, way above as your mentors to get yourself as a way of motivating yourself to also do it, achieve their aims or set goals for yourself. Right? I believe we have to start from within our own surroundings. People who are pushing themselves up. Women who have empowered themselves and they've gotten to a certain level. Those people are within our reach and we can easily go to them for advices on anything that we need. So from there we can move on from they being our mentors to someone who is a bit higher. Then from there, you can also achieve and be an empowered lady and call yourself an empowered woman or lady. I believe that is how we can start from the extrinsic side of motivation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Panam. All nice, Miss All Nice Adams. I think you have a contribution to that. Please speak. Hello, Miss All Nice. I think you have a contribution on the issue of empowerment. The floor is yours. You can make your contribution.
Jones.
Yes, hello.
Okay,
I
if
think,
she's not yet here, I
okay.
would like to speak on what my sister just said on role model stuff.
Okay,
I
please proceed.
actually it's a good point, but I am not disagreeing or anything. But I just want to make a point that there is nothing wrong with taking people higher. Like it's true, we should look around our environment to see some role models there, but there is nothing wrong by dreaming big or looking up to people that are way above us. What we have to do is, even if we end up taking those people because we want to feel a bit challenged and motivated, we should also try to one after the other, the process of being like them or getting there. And at each stage, we can take sub mentors that will guide us to reach the top. I know she didn't say we shouldn't take, but she feels before we take the higher ones, we should take the people around us. But sometimes we need to challenge ourselves. Then we can even see what we are capable of. So that's what I want to say.
Okay, so another contribution. From what she was saying, me will not disagreeing with whatever she was saying. Challenging ourselves come in different levels.
Yes, Manam, we are listening to you. Hello, I think her network is not exactly that good. Um, I think All Nice also has a contribution on this same matter. So if All Nice is active, she can equally give us.
Get
Okay.
role model. So yes, that is what I was trying to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Manam, when you are speaking, it seems you had a little bit of challenge with your connectivity, so we couldn't really hear what you were saying. However, I believe it's either you reiterate it or you type it.
Okay, so was it based on the recent contribution I made?
Yes, the recent one.
Okay, so I was saying that um not disagreeing with whatever my sister earlier on said. There is no harm in dreaming big. But like I said earlier on, you're supposed to take one step at a time. You don't just get up and challenge yourself way, way about things you can't do. like I said, challenges come in different levels. So you start with one step, then you eventually move on. Then from there you go to the final one. That is why I said you have to look at people within your vicinity. People around you are making it so that they are within your reach and you can easily follow their footsteps and their advices and become like them. Eventually, when you become like them, you can also move on that challenge to the next challenge by taking a higher mentor. From there, you eventually get to the topmost mentor you wanted to be like, or the topmost person you wanted to be like. So I wasn't saying that you shouldn't dream big, but I was saying that you should look within your vicinity and try to overcome one challenge at a time instead of taking one big step that could eventually land you into falling or something. That was what I was trying to say. I hope.
Fantastic submission. Miss Ornice Adams, the floor is yours to make your contribution on empowerment and any other contribution there too.
Okay, Mr. Speaker. To Pegita, one important thing that you must know about empowerment is that you need to motivate yourself at all times. Determination is key and very important when it comes to empowerment. You also need to encourage yourself, especially when you are depressed, because depression is the cancer to empowerment. So don't be discouraged. And also, you need to get yourself a mentor who you can always reach out to keep you doing more and get to what you are expected to do, what you getting. So I think that's all I have to say about the empowerment.
Okay,
And
thank you.
allow Mr. Speaker to also give another submission to the intrinsic
Okay,
motivation that we discussed.
sure.
Yeah. So talking about you motivating yourself as well, you should also try to avoid certain toxic people who will try to discourage you from achieving your aims or your set goals. Sometimes as you are trying to move on from one ladder to another, you get people who just come to break those ambitions or those dreams. So you try as much as possible to abstain from those boards, avoid them in any possible way that you can. I'm sorry about that. Any possible way that you can. Because at the long run, if you still roll with set people who keep on telling you can't do it, you can't do it, you eventually end up discouraging your own self and you would regret it, trust me, you will regret it for the rest of your life. So you should try and avoid certain toxic people from our life when you are trying to climb a ladder up high. Thank
Thank you very much. Peggy Ita, if you are active, you can unmute yourself and give your response to the replies that have been given to your question. Peggy Ita, you can unmute yourself if you are active. If you are not active, I'll proceed to read one of the messages being sent as a response to the issue of weakness. It was typed by Ms. Ornice Adams. It says, the question about natural weakness of women is based on skilled or unskilled labor. It also depends on the physique, intellect, and individual strength as well as mental strength in all matter of considerable experiences. So that was what she typed as a reply to the question on weakness. As of now, we are getting to the end of the program. Before we receive closing remarks from each of our guest speakers, I would like to give an information to the entire house. Then we'll go and listen to the closing remarks from each of our guest speakers. So, honorable members, the Youth Impact Parliament, as you can see, is the host of this program. Youth Impact Parliament is based on developing capacity for youth in public speaking, parliamentary business, social norms and value, and then, if possible, issues of national interest and international interest as this. The Youth Impact Parliament has its social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, and YouTube. Try and follow us. For Twitter and Instagram, you can follow us. You can get us if you type YIP Ghana. But the others, you have to type our name in full. It's Youth Impact Parliament. Youth Impact Parliament is still in its first parliamentary year, and hopefully by July, the first parliament will be dissolved, and the second parliament will be reconstituted to continue the good work. And on the 10th of March, we are hoping to have a member of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana, in the person of the Honorable Peter Kwesi Nosu Kotwe, speak to us about himself, his personal experience, and political career. We are hoping to have him on the 1st of March. I think that should be 2 days from now. So we want to encourage all of you to join us. But that is the announcement for now. We want to proceed and take closing remarks from each of our speakers, our panelists. We want to receive a closing remarks from each of our panelists. So I would like to humbly call on Miss, I don't think Nancy Agyapong is online, so we'll proceed to the next person. Miss Christabel na Tsotsoo Namle, is it Namle? The former speaker of University of Ghana, yes, the former speaker of the University of Ghana, Accra City Campus, Student Parliament House. Kindly give us your closing remarks on our team and your final words.
Okay. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Jones, and thank you all panelists who rightly were present during this few hours in discussion. We have all made our contributions towards the theme, and I know that knowledge is said not to be in one person's head. So irrespective of the perspective in which you came or took the theme from, is duly acknowledged. And I want to state emphatically that I have learned a lot from the various presentations and the various contributions being made. Yes, it is true that gender equality has to do something about tomorrow's sustainability. And as rightly said, that this can't be achieved by one part of the gender, but it needs hands from the other part of the gender too. So we are hoping that as we have begun this energetically, we will in time have chances to sensitize people to understand us and the fact that we need their support in promoting what they will call equality, or what we'll call equality. In as much as at times I will state from my point of view that I will prefer equity to equality, but that's just to me. I don't know for others, but I'm just hoping that in time we are understood when it comes to different aspects of our lives, so that the issue of women being their enemies will not come up again in time, and that we will not have people maltreating us or using our stereotypes against us. So once again, I want to say thank you to everyone. Nice meeting you all. And I want to say that you are all great ladies and great assets to the land. We shouldn't let the fire die. Let us keep shining. Let us keep rising in everything that we do. With the right mind, we'll surely achieve the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam. I would like to proceed to Ms. Ekua Manan Asase, the Speaker of Takoradi Technical University, Asase General Assembly, to give her closing remarks and final words on our team. Ms. Manan, the floor is yours.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say a very big thank you to the Youth Impact Parliament for creating or organizing such a meeting for all of us to share our views and opinions. Of course, you brought in very intelligent ladies to bring their speech and their views and opinions on various topics we rose today, and personally, I have learned a lot to improve my own self and also help females around me to also get empowered through certain things I heard and I took note of. And then again, taking it from the equality aspect as well, indeed, women are most of the time being treated or not regarded as equal in certain ways, like I earlier on mentioned, in terms of taking up leadership roles, in terms of even relationship and culture and all those things. And I pray that as time goes on, we get people who become intellectual enough to also understand what we are trying to say here today. And as time goes on, we are also able to help and improve on ladies to also take up certain leadership roles and other things as well. A very big thank you to, of course, the whole technical university and speaker. I see him around there. I say kudos to you and also to the youth impact speaker for giving me a heads up to join the group today and also give my contributions as well. That is basically what I can say this evening. I have few things to study as well. So thank you very much and nice meeting all of you. And I hope that there will be a platform for all the ladies here today so that we can get more interactive, not only on this question or these topics, but other questions and topics as well for us to get insightful and discuss certain things as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ekua. We'd like to move on to Ms. Vera Fafa Agbenya, former president of Old Technical University SRC and founder of Vim Ladies Ghana. Ms. Vera, the floor is yours for you to give us your final words and closing remarks.
Okay, Honorable Speaker, please, Vim Ladies Network.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Vim Ladies Network.
That was by the way. So I would like to say, or I'm saying a very big thank you to you and your organization for organizing this platform for us to share our ideas. I think it has been successful. We've had impactful and meaningful discussions. But then a feedback I would want to give you is next time, if we are organizing this again, we should try as much as possible to bring on board male panelists so that it will help to aid the discussion where we are trying to make a point that gender equality is not a woman's thing. Men are also involved. So it creates that equilibrium or it creates that atmosphere that we feel like, yes, we are being heard or we are being assisted. And then secondly, I would want to say thank you to all the pretty ladies. Their voices are, oh my God, so nice. Say thank you to them. The eloquence is top notch. Thank you to them. And then I'm grateful for what I've learned from them and anyone else who has added a question on or one way or the other has contributed to whatever we've discussed now. Um, gender inequality, gender equality, sorry, not inequality. Gender equality, one of my colleagues was talking about equity, and I want to touch on it that equality and equity works hand in hand, because if you don't get to the stage where you have the same platform, let's say I'm standing on uh, a bucket to be able to see beyond a fence, and you are standing on a ladder, you will surely see clearer than I am. So if we don't get to the point where equity meets up with equality, we cannot talk about development. So I think both of them works hand in hand, where the gap must be filled and then we are on an equal platform. So I think she's right when she talks about equity, because we seem to be talking more about equality and forgetting that we are supposed to push the woman or to a certain stage where she can meet up with the man on certain levels before we can give the equal opportunity for them to be able to take it up. That's why some people complain that women sometimes are the ones who don't present themselves for appointments or positions. Sometimes they are given the platform that women are being searched, but some of them are not available. So sometimes it is not society's fault, because society also tries to. So with that, I agree with her a lot on it. Not to be lengthy about the whole thing, I'll just say thank you so much for the opportunity. God bless us all. Let us get a bigger platform to discuss these issues and then move forward. I wish Youth Parliament, what's the name? Sorry, correct me.
Youth Impact Parliament.
Yes, I wish Youth Impact Parliament will grow bigger, stronger, impact more lives, and then make society a better place for the youth. Thank you so much, and God bless everyone.
Thank you very much, Ms. Vera. I would like to move on to receive closing remarks and the final contribution from Ms. Dinah Yabalo, founder and former First Lady of the Sisterhood Organization. Ms. Dinah, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. First of all, I'd like to thank your organization, that's Youth Impact Parliament, and also the beautiful ladies here that has contributed diversely to making this program a success. I've really learned a lot, though I came in late, and I hope or pray that more of this happens. Like everyone said, we need a platform for ourselves and even invite more people so we could be discussing these issues from time to time. What I would like to say is growth is a process, and for me, I always say it's not needed to be too serious, but it's not needed to be unserious to catch cruise, learn, because I see each stage or each encounter as an adapt to getting me wherever I want to get to, and I believe it will work for everyone who tries to practice that too. Being all focused just because you feel this is what I planned or this is what I'm doing as a lady. Sometimes we need to accept the curves, break down a bit, rise up, get better, and then start afresh. So that's what I have to say on the theme equality. Yes, it's a major thing. It's not just for one party. So as we are going about our daily activities, we all should take it upon ourselves to be people who preach this to everyone, and then try as much as possible to practice it. Let it show in everything we do, and it would really contribute to the entire growth of the society. So thank you all, and let's not forget Sisterhood Ghana on all platforms. You can follow us, check out what we do, and we are open to receiving new people. So, Mr. Speaker, I really appreciate if you make the platform as soon as possible so we get to know each other and bring on board more people. Thank you.
Sure, thank you very much. We'll now like to move on to our last active guest panelist on floor, which is Ms. Ornice Adams. She is the National Service Personnel Association Home Municipal Whole West Women Commissioner. Please give us your final voice and closing remarks for today's program.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity given me. And NASPA as well. I've been educated and inspired in the most regard about gender equality. In the view of this, to conclude, I would like us to imagine a gender equal world, a world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination, a world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive, a world where difference is valued and celebrated. Because together we can forge gender equality. Collectively, we can all break the barriers. With initiatives such as these ones, we can all achieve the best. Once again, I wish all women out there a happy Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ornice. And I'll now proceed to give my closing remarks, vote of thanks, and then we'll close. My contribution is that I was hoping that my co-host would bring that equilibrium in terms of the debate. However, I was actually enjoying the female voices on floor that I didn't really want to interfere because this day is yours. However, I think I would just like to state that ladies should learn to say no when they have to say no. I don't think you should love someone and love the person more than yourself to the detriment of whatever you are doing and even to the risks of losing your life. Some ladies end up loving too much and then it appears they get taken advantage of. So you should learn to say no. Ladies should be very strong. We men are also weak. We are also, let me not use the term fragile, but we also have weak points. And it's all about knowing your partner. If you know your partner, I believe you can work with it. Society already has its directives, and it is very difficult to challenge society on most of these issues. It's very, very difficult. But however, it does not mean change cannot come. If you are determined and you have people behind you, you can make a change. I'd like to state on record that HCU had never had a female president before, and Vera Fafa Agbenya was able to break that. Christabel was also able to break the chain of only having male speakers at the UG Accra City campus. And then a whole lot of achievements most of you ladies who spoke have done. It is because you were determined to bring that change there. And I want to encourage all ladies listening to me to ensure that they make that change where it needs to be, to ensure that that gender equality is visible at where they are. And I believe when we stand strong, we stand strong. But when we are wrong, let us admit the wrong, and there will be peace. It is important for us to have peace. It is better for you to have peace than to have a just war. It is better for you to have an unjust peace than to have a just war. So let us take note of that. Our guest panelists, participants, at this juncture, I would like to use the opportunity to thank the Almighty God for making this program a success. As a matter of fact, the idea came just this morning, and we had to quickly mobilize a lot of people. Ms. Vera was worried that if there are too much panelists, the program might not really sail through. But because I felt the communication came very late, we were sure that some people might not really be active. But I'm happy it still worked out, and I'm really grateful. I want to thank the Almighty God for making this program a success. My second thank goes to all you beautiful ladies, intelligent, determined, and who have very important track records that can encourage your generations, for availing yourself to speak to the people of Ghana and the entire world, as this program will still be posted after this live session. Everyone will see and know the great people you are. And I'm hoping that this program that you have unveiled, that you have made yourself available to impact people, will bid for you in the future. Can thank you all. And now to our participants who joined and who still watch after this live session. We hope you'll be impacted by the knowledge and the gift that these beautiful ladies have shared with you all. And if you have contributions, you can still type them in the message box of the Facebook or the YouTube channel that this video will be posted on. And we'll still accordingly reply you on that. I also want to thank my co-host in the person of Mr. Amanor, the majority leader, and Mr. Erasmus Ahianu, the minority leader of this house. Thank you all. And I want to congratulate everyone else who listened to this, that you have taken the opportunity to learn. Knowledge is so much abundant. It's about availing yourself to learn. I'd like us to proceed to the closing prayer. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Youth Impact Parliament. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to all guests, speakers, and panelists, that they may sail and continue to make impact wherever they are. Open doors for them, that they may impact their worlds and be the change makers at wherever they are. We commit to you our subsequent panel discussion programs that would have, that they will be well organized and impact more in the coming days. Lord, open doors for this house as well to grow in terms of finance and support. In the name of Christ, we thank you for having this program successfully. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Jones Amegashie-Viglo again, founder and speaker of Youth Impact Parliament. I wish you all the best, and this program has now come to a close. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.